Welcome to Taylormade Film Business Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you start a successful film production company or any business for that matter. Now, here are your hosts, Bridget and Tony Charles.
Hello. Welcome to the Taylormade Film Business Podcast.
Welcome.
Yes, the podcast dedicated to helping you run your film production company. I am your host, Bridget Charles.
And I am Tony Charles.
The Tony F. Charles.
Yes.
And for those of you tuning in for the very first time, we are super fortunate to have you, so excited to have you here. And this podcast is dedicated to helping you start your film production company from start to finish.
Yeah, not just a film company. It could be any business that you're passionate about. Like I said last time, this is the best time. Why not?
So true. Tony is absolutely correct. The tips that we are going to share with you can be applied to any business. Our journey personally is from a film production standpoint.
Exactly.
But we feel confident that you'll be able to apply these valuable steps and tips to any business.
Yes.
Right, Tony?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Second episode, man.
Yes, second episode.
I'm pumped. You know me.
Tony is always pumped, guys. He's always stoked. He's always pumped.
Ready to go. Especially, come on. You're here, I'm here, together.
We're all in this together.
It's amazing. We always been doing things together.
We've been doing things together for a lot of years, guys. We won't tell you guys how many years because we'll give away our age, but just know that we've been rolling and riding together for a really, really long time. Yeah. A really long time. So we've been on this journey, the two of us, for a really long time, but now we're bringing you all with us on this journey so that we can all learn and grow together.
Exactly.
This is a really big market. There's a lot that we can do as a team. We feel like you guys are part of our team, now part of our family. And we just want to share these tips so that you are actually armed so that you don't make the same mistakes that we've made.
Exactly. Like she said, we went through it, and our job is to share with you those mistakes, those costly mistakes that we made. If you were to start a film company or anything, you can apply those disciplines, like she said, on anything, any business, but for us, we have a film company. We want to share everything. We're not going to leave nothing behind.
Nothing?
None whatsoever.
It's a little bit scary, guys.
None.
Sometimes it's TMI, also known as too much information, right? But yes. Tony want to share it all with you. He wants you guys to see the good and the bad. So many people sit back and they was like, I can do that. It looks really easy. And we do believe that you can do it, but just know that it's not easy. But anything worth having is worth working for. So
yeah, that's why those 5 tapes, they are very important, so don't forget, like she always said, don't forget to subscribe, just hit that bell, please.
You're going to have to get this valuable content. You're going to have to subscribe. You're going to have to follow us, turn on your push notifications.
Tell your friends, your family, your cousin,
share.
Your father-in-law, your dad.
The whole entire family.
Tell them to
friends
subscribe.
And family.
Exactly.
Just so that you don't miss this valuable content. And remember, guys, that you guys can find us on social media, all social media platforms at Taylormade Film Company.
Exactly.
Taylormade Film Company. So with that being said, Tony, we have to give the listeners and the viewers what they want. They're here today because last time we promised to share 5 costly mistakes that we made as a film production company during our first major production.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's why a lot of people are tuning in today.
Yeah, before we get to that, how do you feel today?
Actually, I feel okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
Exactly.
Like I said, I think the viewers, I know they can't wait. Please. I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of feel sad. We're gonna talk about the mistakes that we made. And
we feel sad now, but we did learn from those mistakes. And again, those are costly mistakes. So we're going to be saving you guys a lot of money. We're going to be saving you a lot of money. So even though we're sad because it costs us a lot of money, we're sharing with you so that you don't have to blow your budget and actually pay for the same mistakes that we've already paid for.
I guess you're right. How about we go ahead and jump
Absolutely.
Right into it.
So just as Tony said, we're going to go right into sharing the 5 costly mistakes that we made as a film production company during our first major film production.
Exactly. Yes.
And some of them may seem like common sense, but you don't realize it until you get in it. I think, Tony, that the very first mistake that we made, I would say personally, was not hiring the right crew.
Yes. Yeah, which I didn't know. How did you do it? Because at the time I was so busy, I didn't know.
Yes.
I remember like when I met.
It was a lot. It was
the
a lot.
first, I was like, okay, who is it? And you was like, yeah, and I was like, well, you did a good job, man.
Exactly.
You did a heck of a good job.
Exactly.
Because I didn't know anything about, how to find crew, but you did.
Yes, and guys, there was a lot of research. Just as Tony indicated during the first episode, this was not my field at all. This was Tony's background. Again, my background was business, so I knew how to find good people and good talent from a business perspective. But with the film industry, it's a little bit different. So the way that I did this particular project that we were working on, I actually started out on social media.
Yeah.
Everyone's always on social media. That's where you find out anything that you want to know about anything in the world, right? So I started on social media. I posted on several of the social media platforms, some of the openings that we had for crew. Mm-hmm. And I also used some of the different formats, some of the different websites that are actually geared towards finding production crew. So I posted in those places, and with that came hundreds and hundreds of resumes for all of the open positions that we had, and also for some of the positions that were not even listed. So people would just inquire.
So with that being said, you have to do your homework.
You have to do your homework. Absolutely. You have to do your homework. You have to make sure that when you post for jobs, you're actually posting all of the correct criteria that you would like to see in your crew members. Okay. But by the same token, where I would like to go with this is to let you guys know one of the mistakes that I feel that I made is that I posted that way. It would have been better to actually get referrals, in my opinion.
Okay.
That's where you're going to find your best crew, through referrals, because people have worked with them before and they know them and they can actually vouch for them, if you will. When you're just posting for a resume, we know people are not always truthful on resumes. People will put on there what they think that they want you to know, even if it's not true.
And basically, when people lie on their resume, it'll actually show to their work.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened to us on set. People had to go on YouTube trying to learn how to do this and that, which at the time, it was crazy. It was pretty hectic. Man, I was like, hey, man, it is what it is. So we already here. The cast crew are here. So
and you can't stop production because you realize they don't know what they're doing, right?
You can't. Especially this is your first project, pretty much all eyes are on you. So
yes, your first major project, right?
Yes.
And that's the point, right? Can you imagine, posting for a job, someone submit and you hire them for the position and they get to set and they're looking on YouTube to figure out how to do what you hired them to do. That's going to put your production way behind schedule. That's going to put your budget off. Yes. So it's so important to actually get those referrals and hire the correct crew. Yeah. We cannot stress that enough. To me, out of everything, all of the tips, that's one of the most important tips. And that is a costly mistake that we made, that we paid for in so many ways. So please avoid that when you're starting your film production company.
It's very important to hire the right crew, but what are you saying? It's better to get referrals from other people.
Yes. I think in this particular industry, that is really important, because when you do that, people have actually worked with these people on different sets before. Yeah. They can vouch for them. Yes, I've seen him. He's a good, whatever the position is, he's good at it. I've seen him in action. I know that he can do this. You get a resume, they put it on there, and they're coming basically to your set for the first time. You don't know them, it's really tricky. So yes, referrals, guys, it's so important. That's tip number 1. Be sure to get those referrals. Otherwise, you're going to pay for it in so many ways.
Yeah, tip number 2. Yeah. Not hire actors.
Not hiring those actors who can deliver.
That can bring it.
Exactly.
I think that's a pretty big one.
Yes.
Because and I feel like me for I would just like I told you, this on me. I made a lot of promises to a lot of people, and which I I fulfilled pretty much like everything, because like you said, you and I, we talked about it. You blamed me and I accepted it. Yeah, it was on me.
What Tony is saying, guys, I blamed him because I feel like he hired so many actors who could not deliver. Yeah. They were personal friends to him, so on and so forth. I didn't know them. I'm like, why are they here? They don't even know their lines. He's like, well, I promised them. It's okay to make promises, but they have to be able to deliver, right? Because you're going to pay for it again in your production costs. Yes. You're going to have to actually pay for extra time on set because they don't actually know. You're going to run over schedule, which is going to put you over budget. So it's so important to actually hire actors that can deliver.
It's very important.
And that's not to say that all of the actors that we had were like that. We had some excellent actors, ones. But in anything is always going to be a few.
Yeah,
right?
We had some great ones, and once again, it's very important to bring people that can, basically like lines are very important. You need to know your lines before you come to set.
Exactly. And actually, Tony, I think that you would agree that will lead us into the third mistake.
Yes.
The third mistake, guys, listen to me well, okay? The third step is sticking to the script. Okay, you have to be able to stick to the script. Yeah. If you have actors that are just going to come on set and they're just going to improvise and just do them, as people would say, then you're going to run into problems.
Definitely going to hurt your pocket.
Exactly. And that is going to hurt you in so many ways, especially when it comes to post-production, right? Because when you I'll get to post-production and you are giving all of your content to your editors, they're not going to even be able to match up the scenes and everything, right? Because all of that information is going to be gone.
But, it's amazing, I remember like our editor, our script, supervisor. Yes. He warned us. He was like,
we had a great script supervisor for that project.
And he did a heck of a good job.
Exactly, and he did warn us. He kept pulling us to the side, like, guys, they're not sticking to the script. Like, this is gonna really be painful later. And we was like, okay, we just wanted to make it through the days. We had really long days, and we just wanted to get through it, right? But that was part of the problem. Yeah. And again, it's so important. That's a costly mistake.
Yeah, it was our first project. Like I said, we learned from pretty much like every mistake that we made, and that's the reason, like you said earlier, our last project was successful.
Correct.
We learned from from past projects.
Exactly.
Now myself, I feel confident. We can accomplish anything.
Exactly, guys. So for that tip number 3, be sure to actually stick to the script just to make sure that that's not a costly mistake for you as well. And that's just part of it. Going into tip number 4, one of the other mistakes that a lot of people made, this one we did a little bit right, if you will, but a lot of people, the location, right?
Location, look, just like I said, say it with me.
Location. Yes. If your location is not right, then everything else is going to be off, guys. It's so important. It is imperative that you find the right location for your project and for your needs.
And me, that's my problem. I don't like to go nowhere and waiting on people to leave so I can go ahead and get a few shots. This is not me.
What do you call it? A stilling shot?
Yes.
Yes, stilling shots. Do that. That's one of Tony's
I don't
pet
like
peeves.
doing it.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think it's important, especially like, filming. If you're filming a scene, sometimes you probably need maybe like 3, 4, different shots here and there. But if you like trying to wait on people to leave so you can get a shot here and there, I'm like, basically like, your shot's not going to be complete.
Exactly.
But when you have a location that you paid for, even if you don't pay for it, like you always say, it's sometimes
you can always barter.
Yeah,
you can always barter.
You can do that.
Yeah, so like you can't actually blame the budget, even if you don't have the funds to pay for a particular location. Yeah. You can always barter. You can be like, look, I can't afford to pay for the location, but I can actually film this for your company. There are so many ways around it, but finding that correct location is imperative, right? And you want to make sure that you have the correct location, that you have all of your clearances so that you can film there, all of your permits and everything. You want to make sure you're on point with that.
I don't think it was a mistake per se, but I felt, we spent way too much.
We spent a lot for our location. We followed the rules. We got the permit. We got the location. We made sure that we had adequate space, but we paid a lot for the space. It was
way too much. And we could have went next door and said, hey, can we use your location? Maybe we should have a commercial for your business. But, at the time, I guess we was like, we big shot. Let's get a 10,000 square feet.
I'm always in the budget, guys. I'm always on point when it comes to the budget. I don't want to go.
You don't have to go and spend a lot of money for location. You can always, like you said,
You can always barter.
Yeah,
bartering is always there. That's always an option. And your location is also important, because think about us for our project. For our project, we had over like 100 people total, right? Can you imagine finding a location where there's 100 plus people, but you only have one restroom? That would be a nightmare. So guys, when you're looking for your locations, you have to make sure that that can actually suit the needs for what you're actually trying to do at that point in time. So location is very important. For tip number 4, make sure that you're on point when it comes to your location.
Yeah, you always, like I said, location plays a big part on any production.
Exactly.
You got to think about sound. You got to think about, basically like space.
Well, that brings us actually into tip number 5.
Let's go.
Tip number 5, the mistakes that a lot of new film production companies make is their gear. Their gear game is not tight, guys. Gear. This is a whole nother conversation by itself.
This definitely got to be on our next episode.
Yeah, I think that we should actually bring that up, because when we speak of gear, right, like you have to make sure that you have the gear that you need for your project. Yes. Some people actually choose to rent gear. Some people choose to purchase gear. Like there are so many routes that you can take, but whatever it is, you have to make sure that your gear game is right for your project that you're actually trying to film at that particular time.
Me personally, I think we did well, because we had pretty much like great equipment, first project, especially cameras. We had great cameras, So my only problem with renting, because I don't like to take stuff back the next day.
I know, and like I say, guys, that's a whole nother episode, and maybe that should be our next episode. Maybe we should talk about renting versus buying, just so that people know what the differences are. But absolutely, however you choose to do it, it's just really, really important that your gear.
But it depends on your budget. Also, if you can afford to buy, I would suggest maybe you invest, or if this is your first time, if you can't afford to buy, you can rent. It's okay.
Yes.
But like me, through experience, I don't think I like to rent equipment.
Exactly. And again, Tony, you're giving away a lot, so let's let that be our next episode before we go into that. But that's our 5th tip, guys. Like, you need to make sure that your gear game is tight.
Very important.
And again, this is such a large conversation. We will definitely jump right into it on our next episode. And we thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yes.
As always, you could have been anywhere, but you're here with us, and we're very grateful for that, guys. We are extremely grateful. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us.
Oh, that's Hov. Please don't. That's Jay-Z. Yeah, second episode, it's amazing. Like, we didn't have, a podcast in that calendar, but
we didn't have room for anything on our calendar.
But
I don't even know how we're managing to get this in. Now, I know how. Actually, we just wanted to be able to share this with our listeners and with our viewers, because again, we don't want people to make the same mistakes that we made.
No, of course.
If we can save people time and money, I think that it's imperative to share the love and to do that. Yeah. So that's why we are here. And again, guys, it's always wonderful to have you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And on our next episode, since Tony is itching to talk about it, as you can see, we'll be talking about renting versus buying when it comes to gear and equipment.
And if you haven't seen our first episode, this is the best time to do so. You need to go ahead and watch the first episode.
Absolutely. Go back and watch the first episode. Listen to the first episode.
Yes.
Follow us, subscribe, turn on your push notifications.
Yeah, you'll find out.
And hit that.
How you got started in the, the film industry. Like I said, next episode, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss that.
Exactly.
You don't want to miss it, because this will be for you, especially for new filmmakers. It's important. You need to know if you need to rent or if you need to buy.
Yes, guys. So be sure to tune in for that one. And for this episode, once again, thank you guys so much for listening to Taylormade Film Podcast. I have been your host, Bridget Charles.
And I am Tony. The
Tony of Charles. Until next time, guys, stay safe and be blessed. And thank you guys so much for joining us.
And don't forget to wash your hands. Take care of yourself. You're listening to
Taylormade Podcast.